Hi Capricorns, how are you? Welcome to 2019 and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for all your likes and your shares and your subscribes and comments. I love reading your comments, so be sure to comment on this if it resonates with you. Even if it doesn't resonate with you, it's kind of fun to get some discussions going on in the comment section. Alright, so this is your 2019 annual overview. It's with respect to life and love, so however the cards show up. If you want a private reading like this, just know that in the private readings we go into a lot more detail. I have a 30-minute version and an hour-long version on my booking site, so if you're interested in that, this is kind of a quickened version of that. All right, let's get started, Capricorns. Spirit and universe. What are the messages and energies and advice and guidance for Capricorns throughout 2020? We're going to look at the first quarter first, January through March. What are the messages for Capricorns? First quarter of 2019. First quarter of 2019 for Capricorns. I was shuffling before turning the camera on, and I had cards popping out all over the place, Capricorn, so there are some strong messages for you. Well, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Swords reversed. This is, I think you're feeling very restless right now, at least, or throughout the first quarter, you're going to feel very restless. And I see that in a couple of places. Most importantly is the Five of Wands here in the middle. This is a card of having an internal battle. Feeling restless, not knowing what to do, fighting against yourself. And look, too, what's bookending it? We have a very, very big decision with the Two of Swords here. A very big decision. It is an emotional decision. We can see that because of the crashing waves on the shore. And the moon means something is coming to light. There's a heightened awareness that this decision needs to take place, but you are choosing to ignore it for the time being. You're not ready to make a decision. And then on the other side of this internal battle is the Eight of Swords reverse. So with the Eight of Swords reversed, Capricorns, this is saying that you don't want to acknowledge the fact that there could be a problem. You're really not wanting to acknowledge it. So I don't know what this decision is. Leave your comments below, but it's definitely bothering you. It could have to do with some sort of security or some unwarranted advice that was given to you that you don't want to listen to. We have the Nine of Swords here, so this is a card of sleepless nights, spinning thoughts, letting your mind and your emotional state go down the rabbit hole. And we know that you're battling here because you're trying to not let yourself do this. But in tarot, the swords represent our thoughts and our ideas. They also often represent the air signs, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. So you may have an air sign in your realm because we do have swords, 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 swords. So that is a possibility. They may be feeling like this. So always keep in mind as you're watching tarot card readings that the energies could be flipped. So if you're thinking about or inquiring about a specific person and the energies and the message that is relayed through the cards is more how they are feeling or how the other person is treating you, situations like that, just know the energies can be flipped. So you could be dealing with an air sign. They could have a big decision. All right, this is an earth energy, the High Priest, the Hierophant. It is the card that represents Taurus, so your sister sign. And it's reversed, so there is an extreme lack of growth, stability. Oftentimes this card can represent some sort of priest or expert in some sort of soft or social science. you know, someone you go to for advice, like a counselor or a therapist or a church minister or pastor. It can represent that. It can also represent marriage. So by this being reversed, either this advice is unwarranted or wasn't asked for, or there's actually an extreme need to get and gather advice from somebody, and that's not taking place. And there really could be a need for that, because we do have going down the rabbit hole. We do have conflict avoidance, decision avoidance. We do have, you know, not wanting to face the fact that there might be some sort of duplicitous energy here in terms of feeling like your mind and your thoughts are trapped, but not being seen like that in the outside world. So again, it kind of mirrors this internal struggle that you're having that may not be actually shown on the outside world. But when you have moments like this, Capricorns, you know, recognize that. That's what this is talking about too. Okay, the Four of Swords, when it's upright, it means healing, consulting your higher power, sorting out your thoughts, healing, because we have this, you know, nectar, you know, syrup here. The need to calm the mind. But when it's reversed, it's not taking place. You're definitely befuddled. You're definitely seeking answers somewhere, looking up into the sky saying, I have all these options. I have all these choices. Which one is best for me? Which one is best for the situation? So again, there's this essence of seeking or needing to seek, needing to heed advice, but not wanting to. And then with the moon reversed, we have, okay, secrets coming to light, or secrets needing to come to light. This has to do with emotions. The Star, you have a lot of major arcana cards right here. And they're big ones. All right? The Hierophant, the Star, the Moon, all three reversed. So there is something going on in the first quarter, Capricorns, that you are not wanting to deal with or face. Here's another air sign, the Queen of Swords. So this is talking about the need for strategy, the ability to strategize, the ability to cut emotions off and think clearly with our minds. Kind of cold that she's depicted here in snow. Okay, I kind of call her the Ice Queen because she's very capable of cutting off the emotional state but continuing on with strategy, analytics, and logic. The Scientist. Okay, first quarter, very interesting, especially kicking off the first quarter. Also in the first quarter, again, we have a water sign. This is the card of Pisces. We have cups. So cups represent the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. The King of Cups is the card of Scorpio. This is the card of Cancer, Pisces. And reversed, again, the King of Cups. Now, one thing that's interesting with water signs is that they are very in tune with their intuition. They're in tune with emotions, very, very controlled emotions. So when we have a high-level water sign, King of Cups, we have a high-level watery energy, someone that is normally very in control of their emotions, and they're reversed. This is a strong indication that they are not utilizing their emotional connectedness to you and everybody else in the most responsible manner. So what do I mean by that? I mean, we can be talking about deceit, manipulation, emotional manipulation, emotional abuse even, if you want to take it to that level. And the only reason why I would ever take it to that level in a reading like this is because we have all of these cards here. So something is clearly afoot, and this could be the culprit. Okay, bookending this energy, the King of Cups, we have you also reversed, and we have the Knight of Pentacles, another earth sign. So again, this is representing you. You're thrown off kilter, definitely, by whatever is going on here in the first quarter. Secondly, this is speaking to you needing to very, very, very much slow down. Don't jump to conclusions. What you're trying to do here, I think, Capricorns, you're actually trying to not jump to conclusions. However, avoidance is not jumping to conclusions. Okay, you can clearly think through things. You can clearly analyze and slowly come to a conclusion via actions and communication. So I kind of gather you're trying to put it all together here. It's very bothersome to you. But you're not quite sure what actions to take. But the longer it goes on and the longer you feel off kilter, the more you're going to start doing something about it. Okay? So that's the first quarter. Let's get into the second quarter and see how things are handled. Spirit and Universe, what are the messages for Capricorns in the second quarter of 2019? April, May, June. April, May, June for Capricorns in the second quarter of 2019. This is spanning on. How you're handling this throughout the second quarter is going to be interesting. Well, right off of the bat, I can see a difference in the coloring of the energy. In the first quarter, clearly there's a lot of emotional kind of oppression and struggle. We saw a lot of blacks and blues and grays. All right. In the second quarter, though, despite the things we're going to talk about in a moment, we do see a lot of a brightening up of the color scheme. So I normally don't talk about that, but it is something I specifically noticed as I was pulling the cards. So let's start with the Sun. This is the most positive card, the most light card, the card that has the most potential in all of the tarot cards, the Sun. It's represented by Leo. I only say that because we do have a lot of fiery energy here in the second quarter. So I don't know if someone new is coming into the picture. It doesn't really look like that, but there's definitely somebody that is taking some sort of leadership role in guiding this, or someone that is standing out from the crowd because of their leadership abilities. So there's a great deal of positivity regardless of what else is going on. Okay, even though this is reversed, the energy is still present. So that's why I say regardless of everything else that's going on, there can still be, quote unquote, a light at the end of the tunnel. There's still going to be some sort of vision that you're reaching towards. We have the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Now again, we talked about the air energy. We talked about the air energy reversals. This is again controlling. This is kind of a maniacal, devious control freak. All right, this is someone that's 5 steps ahead of everybody in every single chess game, and they can play, they can win. Our air signs tend to be very intelligent. Whether or not they actually know what to do with it, that can get a little sticky. So here you are trying to be generous and happy, and you've worked towards things in your life, and you are in this nice stable place. Enter something that's throwing you for a loop. I think you're really trying to work on something with somebody and it's not working, and you keep trying to make it work and it's baffling you. Or they could just be crazy. So, okay, let's talk about this. We have the Lovers reverse. So Lovers is a card that represents Gemini. And this doesn't mean that you're in a relationship with a Gemini, but there is this kind of, again, duplicitous energy that Gemini is represented by the twins. There's 2 people here. There's 2 sides to every story. This also represents a head or a heart decision. When it's reversed, it means that one of those, the head or the heart, is outweighing or outplaying the other portion. So there's no balance here. Now look at this. Ace of Swords. This card represents clarity, initiation. Also extremes. Extreme love, extreme hate. Again, we see the two sides. Ace of Wands represents passion, initiation again, but reversed. So there's a lack of it's like there's too much logic and too much clarity and not enough going with the feelings. So think about that for a moment in the second quarter. Now, I don't think I'm blaming you if there's all this stuff that's leading up to these moments, especially for all the stuff that's going on in the first quarter. So what do we have up here? Again, we talked about kind of this mentor leadership role, someone that's kind of setting the stage for forward momentum. Look at all these aces, Capricorns. Ace of Pentacles reversed. Again, trying to plant a seed of stability. Now, when we talk about the Pentacles, what do they actually represent? Well, in tarot, in astrology, you know, the Pentacles represent earth energies. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. And what does that even mean? It means tangible, something you can build, something you can hold and feel and see. Money, real estate, cars, clothes, food, something that has value, tangible value. It's an asset that's tangible. So if you can see the Ace of Pentacles, she's planting this little pentacle, this one little pentacle that she has in the ground, and she's going to care for it and watch it grow, similar to a savings account, right? It doesn't have to represent money, but they often are represented by money, you know, in depictions. So when this is reversed, as it is in your second quarter, Capricorns, we are talking about a lack of planting seeds, a lack of something getting off of the ground, no matter how much you care for it. She could just dig a hole in the ground and cover it up and put water on it, but there was nothing planted. So nothing can grow when nothing's planted. Okay, think of it that way. Was there a seed planted along the way? And was it a good seed? Was it a bad seed? All right, we have the Tower reversed. This is very interesting, Capricorns, because despite everything that's going on, I see three very positive cards here in this spread, aside from the Sun. The Tower reverse is an indication that something is going to turn around. Something that was breaking or was about to break down either was stopped or is being built again, rebuilt. So despite this, on the most positive level here, at least you have clarity. At least at one point there was passion and you know, head and heart. So things, you know, every relationship has ebb and flow. So it's common to go through these types of phases. So what I'm seeing here is that with this card, the Four of Cups reversed, which means effort, essentially, effort and willingness and want, hunger, and then the Seven of Swords reversed, which means that there wasn't any sort of actual, real, devious, sneaky behavior. There may have been the illusion that there was. There may have been the threat that there was, right? I'm going to leave. I'm going to go meet somebody else. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. But it actually wasn't the case. Okay. Now, this is very important because despite all of this confusion, okay, something is stepping forward into the light. And if you look at this confusion, and then if you look at this Page of Swords, what is the Page of Swords? Another swords. Again, we're talking about ideas and thoughts and using our brain power. The Page of Swords is upright. Actually, thank goodness it's upright, because this is a card of standing high on a hill. First of all, pages represent communication. Bringing forth communication, bringing forth thoughts, bringing forth ideas and words. But I like this card. Now, first of all, a lot of people and readers say that this represents stalking behavior and spying. I mean, yeah, it can, but that's not the only representation for this card, not by all means. This card actually means standing high on a hill so you can see, you're at a vantage point, so you can see everything going on around you, and you're taking the time to analyze your surroundings, their surroundings, the situation, before speaking, before jumping to conclusions. So this is actually a great savior, because leading up to this point, there's been a lot of confusion. There's been a lot of throwing your hands up in the air and wanting to give up and wanting to leave a situation, either you or the other person. But now there is this clarity that occurs when something actually, I think here you're realizing that this doesn't have to break down. It feels like it. Sometimes I feel like I want it to. Sometimes they want it to break down. Sometimes we all just want to throw our chips in, shrug our shoulders and walk away. But maybe it doesn't have to break down. Maybe we can just pause and really think about the extremes of how we think and feel. What are our extremes? How much do I love you? How much do I hate you? How much do I need you? How much do you do those things for me? How much am I on your side? How loyal are we to each other? Okay, what's really going on here? And that cutting clarity leads you to really, really assess the situation and then really, really decide to get involved, either you or them. So there's this rebound effect. Once there's this realization and learning that nothing bad was really going on. This could all be our perceptions were creating this reality. And when the mindset changes because of something learned, it shifts everything. Okay? Third quarter for Capricorns. Spirit and universe, what are the messages? Advice and guidance for Capricorns in the third quarter of 2019. Third quarter 2019. July, August, September. So bottom of the deck in the beginning of the third quarter, or overall energy for the third quarter, is the Three of Wands. This is a card of requiring patience. There is a requirement for patience here. There's no more actions that you or them, one of you can put towards the situation. That time has passed. And now it's time to wait and see what the other person does. And remember, we all have free will. Just because things line up a certain way doesn't mean they're going to stay lined up in that way. So again, we have the Queen of Swords. She's reversed now due to my shuffling and the way I pulled the cards. So keep in mind that when someone has free will and maybe you had a vantage point, they may not have had a vantage point. Okay, so they're still angry. They're still being vindictive. Or that there's that energy. You could be dealing with multiple people throughout the year. Okay, if there's an air sign, they're still angry. There's a very quick decision here actually in the third quarter. I keep thinking I'm in the fourth quarter for some reason. There's a very quick decision. And I think, let's talk about this for a minute, Capricorns, because this is requiring patience. Okay, no further action needed at this time. But there is so much, despite the certainty and the clarity that came over the past few months, There's still an ending here. We have the Three of Swords. This is a card of heartbreak, separation, or third-party situation. We have the Two of Pentacles here, which is represents juggling, okay, being on unsure footing and juggling too many things. So there really could have been 3 people in the mix here. Okay, and despite everyone's best intentions, despite the clarity, despite the want of the need and the hope that things change, which still stays, it doesn't mean that they will change. So there's a very swift decision here. The Hanged Man reverse, again, this is the card of Pisces, so you really could be dealing with air and water. When this is reversed, upright, hanging out, waiting for signs and signals from the universe, the right time to make a decision. Hanging out, basically, waiting. No, this is a card of very swift decision. This is a card of needing to make a decision because things feel off kilter. And then, most importantly, we have the World here. This does mean that a cycle or a phase is coming to a close. So it's going to cause you to be extremely cautious about communicating. And this is actually a very good thing. You're going to pull way back during this time, and you're going to actually listen to your higher self. Because remember, you spent this time gathering information and getting the clarity that you need and really opening up and understanding, okay? Now, just because you maybe weren't sneaking around being shady doesn't mean they weren't, and vice versa. Okay. One person was perceived to be doing something unethical, basically, or trying to get away with something, and one person wasn't. One person was perceived to be that way, and it was a wrong perception, but it doesn't mean that the other person wasn't. And that's a very interesting shift. I didn't think it was going to turn that way. So there very likely may have been 3 people involved. So you're going to pull way back, and you're going to listen to your intuition. You're actually going to take quite a bit of time listening to your intuition and figuring out how you actually are connecting with yourself with respect to this information. Like, you're gonna really feel your gut instincts with respect to this person or this situation. And then again here with this fiery energy, this is talking about staying put, because the Knight of Wands is the card of Sagittarius, and it has to do with charisma and kind of exploring and going here and going there and always being so excited about every new venture. So when we're talking about styles in relationship or styles in people with respect to how they deal with others, this is a card of great charisma and temporary enjoyment. But when this is reversed, and when it comes after you pulling back to analyze yourself, there is an essence here of you really wanting that stability, wanting somebody to stay, wanting to stay. So let's now talk about the 4th quarter and find out, once you have this realization, then what? 4th quarter for Capricorns in 2019. 4th quarter for Capricorns in 2019. October, November, December for Capricorns 2019. Lots of Pentacles, the Empress, The Empress represents an earth energy. Now, just because I say that it represents an earth energy doesn't mean that you're only talking about an earth sign, okay? But when I say represents an earth energy, it means represents growth and tangibility and stability. Now, the Empress is a very wonderful card to get in light of the situation for you Capricorns, because it does mean motivation and desire to grow and build something. It's like a new idea, like you want to have a startup business, or you want to go on some new venture of starting something, or creating a nonprofit, or saving money. It's like some new venture that you're really excited about. And it doesn't have to do with large amounts of money. It could just be something you're really excited and passionate about. Something that you want to help grow or start to grow. It can also mean pregnancy. Now, because we have this energy, it's interesting. I think what's happening throughout this year is there was this person that emotionally threw you for a loop. And you were willing to try and try and try and try and try. And ultimately, they showed you who they really were. And now you're kind of like, okay, I'm free. Or I'm free to be with this other person. Or I have new ideas now. I'm not going to focus so much on my love life. And I think despite them throwing you for an emotional loop, you're oddly okay with it, and you're actually excited to move on. And so you have this breath of fresh air. And I say that because the Wheel of Fortune is here, and this is a card of changing tides for the better. Things will start to work out in your favor. And remember, that's important after something comes to a close. I feel this breath of fresh air. 8 of Wands, lack of short distance travel, or lack of receiving messages. So you could actually be blocking this person. You know, when we look at like the low energy level, or message in this card, you could be literally blocking somebody because you don't want to talk to them, because you're just done. You're ready for something new. 2 of Wands reversed. Yeah, you are making decisions. You don't need somebody to go on this journey with you. Someone else will come along, and bye, Felicia. Lack of new love, but very open. Okay, Ace of Cups reversed, lack of new love coming into the picture. I think you're really okay with that, Capricorns. I think you're actually kind of excited about it. Now let me say, if you're in a long-term relationship, okay, again, there's ebb and flows in relationships. Sometimes you need to give them their space, sometimes they give you your space, and it doesn't mean some major fight caused you to separate for a while and come back together. It could mean that, but it could also just mean that throughout this year, there's been this nice give and take and acceptance of, okay, if you want to go do that, if you want to go do that, fine. We're uneasy right now, things aren't going well, but again, I have this vantage point, so I'm just going to let things play out. And then they continue with their antics and you make decisions. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always black or white. It doesn't always have to mean someone's staying or somebody's going. So please keep that perspective as we listen to this reading. If you're in a long-term relationship, this doesn't have to mean your partner's leaving or that you're going to leave, okay? But there could be moments where you kind of pull way back in communication and you start making decisions. There's not a resurgence or a new love coming into the picture, because you're in a long-term relationship and you're dealing with those tides coming in and out. Ultimately, though, we do have this great opening up of the pocketbook, or willingness to be active with this Four of Pentacles. Normally he's kind of hiding and retreating, and everyone's like, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you building? Like kind of the mad scientist hiding away from the world, or saving tons of money and not telling anybody. Okay, but when this is reversed, there's a sharing aspect. And then it's interesting because what's right next to it, the Six of Pentacles, and this means that there's a lack of reciprocity. So you may actually really, or one of you may really be opening up to try to set example that they should open up to. It's like you're trying to lead them into this reciprocity, lead them into this equal give and take situation, because they don't It's like they kind of miss the boat and don't understand they're supposed to. Okay, I'm trying to make this a little bit light because I don't know that this has to be such a heavy reading, and this is a quarter. We're looking at a long period of time here. So, and then the Nine of Wands even lightens it up even more, because I think there's this threat of being overburdened here with the Ten of Wands. This dark cloud, and I'm so busy, and I've got so much going on. But, you know, not really. Like, this is all something that is extremely manageable. And it is, and you do well, or they do well, or the relationship does well, because we have the Three of Pentacles here. This is a card of leveling up. You've stepped up in money, in stability, in career. This has to do with getting accolades for a job well done. So your patience and perseverance throughout this year with respect to this person or these people and career and money is actually going to pay off. And this newfound responsibility could be a little daunting to you, but we know, Capricorns, that you can handle it. More so than anybody else can, frankly. So, kind of a wavy year, kind of an emotional beginning to the year. But I think at the, as you round out the second 6 months, Capricorns, in 2019, you're just going to get back to your old self and not let people throw you for a loop. And you're just going to keep building and building and open up and set examples, okay? And people that aren't willing to work with you or, jump to too many conclusions, they're gone, peace out, and you're ready to move forward and make some decisions. And ultimately, you do, and it gets you someplace beautiful. So congratulations. Okay, a little bit of a rocky road, but you're going to have a really good year ultimately. All right, Capricorns, well, I love you. Have a wonderful year, and stay tuned. Your February readings are coming right up, okay? Love you. Bye.